Airs, everyone. I knew you'd return. I didn't know. I hoped, and you did. So welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Monday edition, of course. Getting started after the weekend. Big pain in the ass, I know. Not so much for me. I wake up late. I stumble into this room in my house, and that's about it. So it's not a lot of work. I'll give you that. But it is appreciated that you pop in. Check it out. Yes, the voice, once again, very gravelly. I finally finished my audio book. The book, of course, where's the little guy? Here he is. Hold on. Spare me. Spare me. There it is, Anthony Cumia. Spare me. New book that's out, making the rounds. And I had put off doing the audiobook for so long that Johnny Russo, Playboy Johnny Russo, the ghostwriter, as they call it, he was calling me up just going, dude, you got to do this. You just got to get it done. The publisher, the audiobook company, everyone is so fucking pissed off that you're not, the audio is supposed to be released the same time as the book came out. In mid-July. So, yeah, they got a little bummed with me. I just, I'm a busy guy. I just started a new game, Once Human. Very involved. It takes a lot of my time. So doing things like, an audio book, I have to find time for that. And I did, so I got that done. But now I got to send it somewhere, and that's another pain in the ass. But it was over the course of Friday and Saturday. I did it. It just sucks. It's not a fun thing to have to do. It's cool that you have a book and you got an audiobook and people want it. That's great. But it is not a fun thing to sit there and go over First of all, you have to go through the book so many times that you get sick of it and you start second guessing everything. Like, oh, great, this sucks. Why did I say that? All of it. You just think it sucks. It's like musicians when they record a new song. By the time it's done and out on an album, they hate it. They fucking hate it because they've heard it so many times. Imagine how badly Mick Jagger hates Brown Sugar or fucking Satisfaction. He must fucking despise those songs. So, yeah, you start reading, you get a little like, whatever. And then having to go through it on the recording program, audio. I was using Adobe Audition. Last time I did it for Permanently Suspended, I had someone help me out. Rick Delgado, of course, the great Rick Delgado, was running the recording session. And he would click back in and go, hey, yeah, that line, you said it, you tailed off at the end, or your voice cracked, or you said something, you mumbled or jumbled that word. And then I would just do it again. This time I was running the fucking recording thing and recording at the same time. So I'm going back, I'm erasing shit. It was a nightmare. Sorry, I know people are roofers out there. I know people are tin knockers. Getting a hot attic in the middle of August. Recording a book might seem like a very easy thing to do. I do not make light of that. Yes. In comparison to being in an insulation-filled attic and putting in an air conditioning and heating unit, yes, pretty easy. But when the only other thing you're doing in your life is playing video games, it sucks. Then it sucks. It's all relative, I guess you would say, is what I'm saying. You would say. Great. Very cool. So that's done. I don't know when it's going to be available, but it will be. I promise you that. You'll probably notice a few things too. Like I was, my voice, crackling. And then toward the end, you just get a little lax about editing, maybe a pause or two. And then there were a couple of things that I had to add in that weren't in the book. A couple of footnotes about Jimmy. I guess at one part, because the book was written over a year ago. So there's a lot of stuff in there that's like, a couple of things changed. And one of which was I was questioning whether I was on not being asked to do the Chip Chipperson show because Bill Burr was running the studio and the broadcast platform that Chip's show was being played on. And I thought perhaps Bill had said something to Jim to, he doesn't want my racist ass up on his platform. But Jim assured me that wasn't the case, and I had done subsequent episodes of Chip after my speculating on that. But I hadn't known that yet, so I kind of put that in the book. So I said in the recorded thing, a little footnote there, I was like, by the way, I talked to Jimmy and everything. So there's a couple of instances of that, things that are on the recorded book and not in the printed book. Topo Chico. Bubblicious. That's some good shit. Why hasn't Jimmy been on your show? This is great. I actually have the YouTube feed up and I have the chat up. So Anthony looks like Hank Azaria. Yeah, I'm getting a few different looks of late. Yeah, Jimmy wants to be on the show. He's going to be on the show. We just haven't really hashed it out yet. But yeah, he'll be on there. Yeah, I've gotten a couple of different looks. I was trying to go through all of my iterations, Anthony's iterations of looks. Not as a child, every kid looks like a dopey kid, but kind of from my teens, I went from, and I've had these looks for years and years and years, and then they kind of change. I had my big afro teen Anthony, grubby beard, kind of afro Anthony look. Then that kind of lasted right up until I got married when I was about 30. I went through all of my 20s with the same thing, the big frizzy hair that people have posted the picture, that picture of me with that look, that iteration of Anthony, and said that it was whenever there's a Islam terror event, someone will post that and say, oh, this was the guy. This was the suspect in the bombing or shooting. It's very funny. I got the big afro and the fucking beard and everything. Yeah, there it is. See, there it is. Attacker identified as Tunisian man, Antoine Cumia, 31. This was actually on CNN. Like, just when you think the media is as fucked up and stupid as they could be, that was printed. And I was like, I had lost all faith in mainstream media before that even happened, believe me. When they do stories on you, when you're kind of a, pseudo celebrity, and they do stories on you about whatever, your marriage, divorce, an arrest, the show, the Opie and Anthony show, and they get everything wrong. Everything is wrong. You start thinking to yourself, maybe they're not getting my stories wrong. Maybe they're getting everything wrong, or maybe it's more calculated than an error. But I think it's a mixture. I think, of course, there's calculated agendas they want to go for, and then they're just incompetent. They're terrible. They're not reporters. They're not journalists. So you end up with Antoine Cumia committing terrorist acts all over the globe. So that was one of my iterations. Now, when I went to WAAF up in Boston, when the Opie and Anthony show first started, I needed to do something. It was kind of crazy to go out with that fucking big mop. So it was the 90s. So I shaved that. I went with the goatee and the ponytail, with the hat and the ponytail coming through the back of the hat, like Barbie, like Antoine Barbie. That was another one. If you pop up Anthony at WAAF, Ryan, you'll probably get a picture of me from that iteration with the hat and the goatee. And that one lasted throughout my whole career in alt rock radio. That was WAAF. Yeah, there you go. That was my look. That was my Opie and Anthony show. FM radio edition. That's the FM radio edition of the Opie and Anthony show. Yeah, that was good. I was at a alt rock station. I could go like that to a Rage Against the Machine show, and it was great. I was a jock on the rock station. Awesome. Then I got my divorce, and I hooked up with a girl who was like 20. Stayed with her for about 9 years. And, when you're with a new girl, they can really coax you. And she's kind of like, hey, why don't we go and get something done with your hair? And these were what I call the John Sahag years. You all remember when I would be doing the show, and I go, I got to go to John Sahag. John Sahag. And that was when I got my mop finally cut off. And I just went from a big afro to a little smaller one, and it just kept getting progressively smaller. When I did the show, I still kept the hat on because it was just easier. But that's kind of how that went. And then Sirius Satellite Radio, kind of the same look. And then with Compound Media, it just completely changed. All the facial hair came off. The hair very much closer to the head. Of course, when it grew out, people would call me Nana. They would call me Nana. I get my soy sauce treatments to, cover up a lot of the gray coming in. And that was kind of that's been the last iteration. The final iteration, of course, is up to the Undertaker. Or whatever they call them these days. Undertaker is like an 1800s word. Mortician. That will be the final. Everyone gets their final iteration of who they are and what they look like from the mortician. And, they'll make you up to look real silly. Silly. I hate going to those fucking wakes, man. You walk in and you look at the person and you remembered all of their various iterations if you're very close with them. And then that last thing you get to see is the red rouge on their cheeks. And it's like, sorry he's got rouge and lipstick on. We're trying to cover up for the fact that he's dead and blue. Sorry, you don't want to look at him like he's been fucking trapped under earthquake rubble for 2 weeks. So, I get the point, but no one wants to be remembered wearing the mortician makeup. It just doesn't look very natural. And people say that. He looks so natural. He look good. Doesn't he? Doesn't he look good? Yes, he does. Oh, my God. Oh, that's fantastic, though. They did a great job on him. Did they? You're going to roll them over and check the fucking plastic butt plug they stick in people so their innards don't leak out their ass? I'm not shitting you. They put fucking a big plastic screw. Put Ryan, find mortician plastic butt screw, rectal screw. I'll probably show a mortician fucking a dead body. Maybe that's what it is. I have no faith in the internet anymore. There you go. So there's ones for your ears, your nose, and then they shove this up your butt and just twist it so, your whole life doesn't leak out your asshole. Just some of the things we really don't kind of want to think about in those terms. There's just something to be said for being put in a burlap sack and buried out back with an old tombstone or up on Boot Hill, I don't think they went to those lengths. People just have this need to, there it is. Look at that. Dead butt plug. Dead butt plug. Dead butt plug. One of my classic bits. Thank you. Anthony entered his George Bush Senior glasses era. Thanks, Dave's World, for the Super Chat. These, of course, because we're doing YouTube for the first time in a while here, Yeah, these are my reading glasses. They're actually glasses for far away and then stupid reading. I hate bifocals, but I have regular reading glasses that are kind of the same style as these. But most people have said Chief Brody from Jaws. That's the thing I get the most. I go like this. It's like, yeah, the chief from there he is. See? So most people are saying I got the Chief Brody from Jaws look going. Okay. I could see it. I could see it. Anthony, do you still drink alcohol? Yeah. Yeah. Not nearly as much as I used to. Not nearly as much as I used to. Now, during the week, I don't drink. And on the weekends, I'll have some wine. I'll just if I go out to a bar for dinner, I'll have some wine, things like that. Maybe there's a great place down in Greenville that it's called the Trap Door, and it's got transgender people. I'm kidding. The Trap Door, get it? It's a Trappist monk beer place, so you'll get the Belgian beer, Chimay and Duval or Duvel, however you fucking pronounce it. But yeah, so I'll drink a couple of those if we go down there for dinner or a couple of beers or something like that. But the lengths I was going to during the week, which I firmly plant the blame on Gino Bisconti, firmly plant the blame on Gino Bisconti. Everything. I blame him for everything. The shots I was doing before the show even started, it just began, it was out of control. It was out of fucking control. I would go to Sullivan's, the bar across the street from the studio in Manhattan on 35th Street. Nice restaurant. I'd get there maybe 2 hours before the show and have my lunch, sit there at a back table by myself, and go through social media and find things to talk about on the show. And I'd have a beer, I'd have a bud, sit there, and not a bud, I'd have a few buds. And it was a great way to prepare for the show. Well, when I started talking about that, people started showing up and they wanted to say hi, they wanted a picture, they wanted to sign something, whatever. Fine. And I had to actually go on the show and say, could you leave me alone? I'm working back there. Work again. It's not roofing. But I just wanted to kind of be left alone. You get in that moment, you're thinking of something and you want to remember what you're going to say on the show about some topic or whatever. But they'd come in and be like, the first thing, look, I know you don't want anyone to bother you. No, apparently you don't. Apparently you have no clue what that means. I didn't say that. I said, no, it's cool, because I'm non-confrontation guy. Just ask the Compound Media employees. So, yeah, people would come in and then they'd buy me a shot to make up for the fact that they were interrupting me. And beers, they'd buy me some Jameson or Jack Daniels or whatever. And then Gino would get done with his show and he'd come over to the bar. He knew I didn't want to be bothered. He'd still bother me because he's Gino. And then he'd send over shots. And before I knew it, I was doing probably 5 shots of whiskey and 3 to 4 bottles of Bud before I even walked in to do my show. Now, on any day, I would then have another at least 4 beers during the show. And then sometimes I would go across the street when the show was over and have a few more beers, maybe another shot, and take the train home, where I would then play video games with beers until, the wee hours of the morning. So it was drinking all day. Well, from 2:30. From 2:30 p.m. till 2:30 a.m., for the most part, was spent nonstop consumption of alcohol. It just nonstop, 12 hours. And then I'd wake up and feel like utter and complete shit. Drag my ass onto the train, go into the city, and start it all over again. And it's just not a good way. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. it took its toll. It did. It took its toll physically. Mentally, I'm a great drunk. I can handle being drunk. Some people would argue based on some videos of the domestic violence thing with Danny Brand. But even that, I was making jokes. I was having fun. The only thing I did was bite her on the hand when she went to smack me the second time or third time. But she was a real button pusher, like Gino, you know. Imagine that. I hit a girl before I hit Gino. I didn't hit her. I bit her. I bit a girl before I bit Gino. I didn't want to get rabies by biting Gino. So I've been able to handle drinking for years. Many people have told me when I drink, sometimes they can't even tell. I'll be like, holy fuck, was I hammered last night? And they're like, really? You seemed fine. Yeah, that's how I am. I'm that good at drinking. I'm that fucking good at drinking. But it was taking its toll physically. You know, over the course of, I would say from the 10 years, the 10 years of Compound Media. Because before that, while I could drink beers at SiriusXM, sometimes I'd have one behind the monitor. It was nowhere near what was going on at Compound. So once Compound started and it was like, this is all mine, my show, my studio, my rules. Yeah, beer's on the menu every day. And then, like I said, Gino loves his fucking whiskey. So that started whenever we were doing a show together or hanging out. We're hanging out. I had to do shots. And I think that was a big contributing factor to last year's quadruple bypass surgery. I think that had a lot to do with it. The alcohol bloat in the face and if you want to know what that looks like, just tune into Stuttering John Melendez. Tune into a Stut Joe show and you could see the face, the bloated face of dangerous alcoholism, physically dangerous alcoholism. And listen to him try to speak and how he handles his life. That's a guy that can't handle his drinking. He gets blackout drunk, says like the nastiest, most horrible shit about people. And physically, he can't handle it either. He's a big, bloated, disgusting mess. So, little Stut Joe. I don't want to step on any toes, Uncle Rico, of course. And who are these podcasts? That Uncle Rico show is fucking fantastic. It's so well done. The whole outline of it is great with Bob Levy and Mike. It's just, and Shuley he's perfect for that. They put together like the packages they put together and the time they take editing and having clips for the clips. It's just so well done. I love doing that show. I can't think of another show I do with the frequency I do Uncle Rico because it's just so much fun. And then when I'm not doing it, if I am just sitting here doing good point, Anthony, this show is such garbage. Thank you. When I'm sitting playing video games, I'll have it on in the background when I'm not even doing the show because it's fucking, it's cool. Yeah, I just figured I'd look at some of the, why is Anthony ball washing Shuley? It's not a ball washing. Compliments. You used to be able to compliment people. Now it's just called ball washing. I don't owe Shuley anything. He doesn't owe me anything. We just have a mutual interest in doing entertaining, fun shows. And sometimes they concern a certain stuttering idiot. That's all. That's all. Ant's liver looks like Flavor Fresh. No. They checked all of my organs out. They had to, before they do a surgery on you like that. They got to make sure all your blood work is right. So they check all your organ functions, and they were all fine. It was, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Anyway, yeah, so I got the chat going here. We got some calls going. These two on the air? Well, there you go. Maybe we could talk to this guy. Is his name Crows? Is your name Crows, sir, from Michigan?
Kraus. Like the Benson show.
Right, that works anyway. Whatevs. How you doing, man?
Can I have 60 seconds of your time to praise you?
Well, take as long as you want, sir. Yes, you can. Praise away.
Okay, I live in Detroit, Michigan. It's as bad
Sorry
as you
to
think.
hear that. Sorry.
But
Sorry
back
to
in
hear
the
that.
day, I used to be a Howard Stern fan, and I would notice that he would like slag on the O&A show.
Yes.
But I didn't know it. I didn't hear it. But once you guys got syndicated to Detroit, I was like, okay, I'm going to give these guys a chance.
See?
And
Just
the
give us a
first time I listened to you guys, you were making fun of burn victims.
Oh, Jesus.
And Jimmy was like, they always look surprised and they flinch near vinegar. That was the funniest fucking thing I ever heard in my entire fucking life. And I immediately
God damn,
became
that's
a
fun.
fan.
Yeah, the brutal fucking humor has always been my favorite. And Jimmy was it was a perfect combination. Anything, murder, rape, robbery, crib death. It was all fair game, and it was done so well, and it was so cringe funny. Yeah, I agree, sir. That was very funny.
Yeah, I immediately became a fan of O&A. Nowadays, more A than O, if you get what I mean. But
I hear you.
I just love you, dude. Back in the day, your show helped me through a lot of dark times, and I'm really happy that you exist. Keep on.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad you're still on board, still willing to sit here and listen to me yap. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, my friend. Have a good one. We'll return to the queue, as it says. I guess that's what I got to do. Yeah, if you want to call, you can put the number up there, Ryan. If there you go, 718-400-6959. 1-888 a few things going on in the news. Some I'm sure you've seen, because over the weekend, I see shit on Thursday after the show. I'll see something I'd like to talk about, and then there it is. And what am I going to do? I got to put it in the prep, and then I talk about it Monday, and everybody's already heard about it. And I saw a picture of you from 2000. This is from Chris Cray. And you had a Pepsi and like 3 cans of ginger ale on the table. You were drinking soda, MF. In 2000? I'm certain there was Jack Daniels nearby to pour into the ginger ale or Pepsi. Yeah, probably a Jack and Coke or a Jack and Ginger, something like that. Can't imagine I was just drinking soda. Unless I was so incredibly hungover that the thought of drinking would have made me vomit. Something like that. Yeah. This guy can't read. All right. You got to love the chat. I'm like Opie, reading the chat, just fucking fixated on the chat. All right, Jason M., how you doing? Tom, Jeremy, good to see you again. Jason, another Jason, thanks, man. JP, good to see you. Do you imagine that the first fucking half hour of your show is just reading a phone book? Like you're just reading a fucking phone book. Whatever. It's hilarious. I got to play this because it's obligatory. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? The pole vaulter that lost because his dick, his big, meaty French cock, his uncut French dick, hit the crossbar in the pole vault, which, yes, what an ironic name for the sport. But, I mean, again, I was talking about that female boxer that lost because she was fighting a man who punched her in the face until she could not take being punched in the face. She's a boxer, she's a woman boxer. You gotta get that right. But she is a boxer. So she's been punched in the face a few times. But a man being in the ring with her, it caused her so much pain and disorientation to be punched in the face by a man, she had to drop out. And she had been hoping and dreaming and planning and training for the Olympics her entire life. All these Olympians, they don't just on a whim, but they're watching the Olympics and 4 years later they're in it because they saw something they liked. Every one of these motherfuckers has a story about being a child. Their parents are involved. We had to drive her to skating class or this or that. They all have that story. And being at the Olympics is the culmination of all that work, the pinnacle of your existence up until that very moment. And this woman never imagined as a child trying to find kids' boxing gloves, and then in school, physical education class, and then training, and then Olympic training, that she would have to get in the ring with a man and be beat up, everything she had worked that hard for, right down the old shitter when Tony Two Nuts steps into the ring with her. So it's kind of similar to this guy. Like, I don't even know where you train for pole vaulting. I've never known a pole vaulter in my life, but I would assume you got to do this a lot before you're good at it. And before you're good at it to go to the Olympics. I have to imagine everyone that does this is trying to get to the Olympics, because what else is it for? It's not like the kid in high school that plays football and you have these dreams of being in the NFL or baseball, hockey, whatever it might be. This is a sport that, aside from the Olympics, what is it? No one goes to see the pole vaulting competition or professional pole vaulting. It doesn't carry over like football does or anything, any of these Olympic sports, boxing. You could become a professional boxer when you're an Olympic boxer. But yeah, the pole vaulting guy. Then you got to bring the pole with you. You bring your sneakers, a basketball, helmet, shoulder pads, your hockey stick. You got to fucking bring a pole with you wherever you go. Seems like a silly sport. What's with the pole vault? But this guy, a kid, you can imagine, a kid with a little pole vault, little pole and a little pole in his pants. He's just, training. He wants to be in the Olympics and get that gold medal. And the one thing in his life that was just an amazing miracle given to him by God, a huge cock, fucks up his entire goal of getting that gold medal. His dick got in the way of the gold. Watch, I'm sure you've seen it, but here he is. Almost makes it around, and big fat cock hits the pole. Big fat cock. Oh, Jesus. Look at it. Dude, tie that thing down. Wear a fucking, a Kevlar jock or something. The thing's flopping around like a baby's arm. It's a baby's arm clutching an apple in his pants. There he goes. All of his hopes and dreams gone with one little swipe of his dick. See, there's a sport where maybe the women have the advantage because they don't have the cock to get in the way. It's very hard to hook your vagina on one of the poles. But then, the physical strength thing comes into it. So, unbelievable. Yes, sacre bleu. Sacre bleu. Oh, my penis has gotten in the way. Oh. But now he's known for having a giant cock, which, when you get over the fact that you're not going to win a medal, I'm sure a lot of these French whores, paint me like you do your French whores. I'm sure a lot of his French whores are going to be very excited to see that, making the obligatory pole joke. They'll do that. He'll be like, and then he'll fuck her with his giant dick and then strangle her with the participation trophy he got for being in the Olympics and not winning the gold. Does he get a bronze? Maybe he could choke bitches that make fun of his dick with his bronze medal. Whoa. Whoa. And then I guess there was another woman lost to a man in the boxing event. We're at the point now where we're exactly where we said we would be. We are exactly where we said we would be if they allowed transgender women in women's sports. We are exactly where we were. 2 men are competing in the women's boxing finals for the gold. They've just wiped out all the women. They're not women anymore. They're not allowed to be in the competition. They just get their asses beat by these transgender women. And everyone saw this coming. The first time you ever saw a tranny man, a transgender man, woman, I can't, compete against a woman, you just knew it was over. You knew that if they allowed this to continue, it wasn't just going to be high school sports and college sports. It was going to be the Olympics, and then at some point, probably professional sports. Well, we've already seen in the WNBA, right? That woman that got caught in Russia, woman that got caught in Russia with the weed. Yeah, that I've seen that person on video, topless, running around a pool. And there is not a hint of breasts. Yeah, Brittany Griner. That, I don't know. I don't know what that is. It doesn't seem like a woman to me. Doesn't seem like a woman. No tits at all. A man's chest. And a voice deeper than 90% of the men out there. No femininity or anything. It's just fucking, it's what it is. So it's insane. Can we stop calling them women now, Hawaiian 82? Yeah, maybe. Maybe we can. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, the dead man. Okay, let's talk to Charlie. Hey, Charlie, where you from, man?
Anthony.
Yes.
Hands down, this is one of the best. This is one of the best conversations I will ever have in my life.
Of course. How you doing? Where you from, my friend?
You are a brilliant comedian. I discovered you about 4 or 5 years back on YouTube on the Anthony and Opie. The fact that I'm talking
Anthony
right
and
now
Opie.
is mind-boggling. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. No, you make the call. You wanted to talk about Olympics and men competing, and thank you. I appreciate your support, sir.
I sincerely mean it. Hey, can I ask you one question? Why don't you monetize? You're a brilliant comedian. You've got hundreds of hours of your past 20 or 30 years on YouTube. Why aren't you making money off of that? I listen to your stuff 4 to 5 hours a day. Why aren't you profiting off that?
I don't know. Is there a way to, I think Opie's posting a lot of that on his YouTube channel. He's posting a lot of old Opie and Anthony stuff and making some cake.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
But I think if you put like a catalog together, like tens of thousands of hours, and you sold it, I would buy it.
Oh my God, I'm so busy playing video games. I love the chat. Mind your own business.
I can't believe I'm talking to you. This is so mind-boggling to me.
Chat's hilarious. All right, my friend. Well, thank you, Charles. I appreciate the support. We'll move on from Charles. I appreciate it. It's very nice of him. It's a very nice man that wants to, call up and say that I'm awesome and I should be making more money. Truth be told, by the grace of God himself or herself, I did very well. I did very well for myself with the Opie and Anthony show on NEW and then on Sirius XM satellite radio. We signed some amazingly ridiculous, lucrative contracts. Millions of dollars. I'm not shy or embarrassed to say. That is you could verify it in newspapers. Newspapers would print when we signed a contract. WNEW signs the Opie and Anthony show for another 3 years for $15 million. It was insane, believe me. I was more shocked and surprised than anyone else except maybe my family. My family, I think, was the most shocked that this fucking piece of shit was now making more money than they ever dreamt that I would make. Never mind, the rest of the family or anything. I was supposed to be $30,000 a year lazy construction worker going over mom's house for dinners and, can I sleep on the couch until I get a place? That was supposed to be me. That was the other, Biff Tannen, Anthony life trajectory. But by the grace of God, like I said, I did very well for myself. Over the course of the years, spent a lot of money. Loved it. I partied my ass off. Went to Vegas, Atlantic City, the Bahamas, and gambled and had money on the table that was more than the average person's year salary. Yeah. Waiting one turn of a card. Do you win it or do you lose it? It was fantastic. The excitement you get from that. The parties, the girls, women. It was just a cavalcade of money and drinking and planes and cars. Oh, I saw a Jaguar commercial. I go, that car looks awesome. I literally left my house, hopped in my car at the time, drove to a Jaguar dealership and bought that car. The F-Type. I'm not bragging here. I'm sort of bragging here. The point is, I don't have to monetize old clips on YouTube to make a little scratch to keep things going. It's nice. And as I see it, super chats and things like that, they're a great kind of way to support this. It's motivating, It's nice. And money coming in is always good. I got money invested. I got things which today is taking a shit. But it's nice to do this and people appreciate it enough that I could, make a truck payment or a mortgage payment or whatever the fuck it is. That's nice. I don't care how much money you have or have had or used or spent. You like making money. That's what our capitalist society is all about. Makes you feel useful. So, I did very well. It's a nice thing. So when I hear Stuttering John say things and Stuttering John says, I saved a lot of money. I put my kid through college. And then he's yelling at his mom to make him a Hot Pocket downstairs because he's staying at his mommy's house. It's kind of embarrassing at 58 years old. It's a lot more embarrassing pushing 60, sleeping at your mom's house than it is being in your 60s and talking about the fact that you invested and saved some money and you're okay. But that's Johnny. That's Johnny. Yeah, I did lose a few of those hands too. Devastating. When you have a casino and you're literally the center of attention and you've been making bets, you're playing 3 hands, you have 3 hands with $30,000 up, $10,000 is in each hand. Yeah, you get some butterflies. You start breathing a little, hyperventilating a little. The dealer's showing a 3, and they flip over a card, and it's a 7. You shit yourself. You're shitting yourself. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Love it. And I've won a few of those hands. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Wow, you just hear the whole fucking place because everyone's pretty quiet, a little chit chat, and the dealer's going, and then dealer busts. Wow, yeah, and I'm just yelling and fucking. It's fucking, it's part of the whole picture. It's part of the whole fucking amazingness that was the whole thing that went along with being part of the Opie and Anthony show, and then 10 years of Compound Media. A lot of fun. But you gotta kind of pull the reins back at some point. You gotta pull the reins back. It literally took me like, hey, Anthony, we're going to take some arteries from your leg and stick it in your chest. Mind? You mind? That's kind of what it took for me to be like, all right, maybe it's best I have a nice house down here in South Carolina. I don't have to deal with the day-to-day bullshit of running a company from New York City. I come on, I do my show, hour and a half instead of 2 hours now, and that's it. It's nice. It's a nice little, ladies and gentlemen, please put your seats in their upright position and your tray tables. Buckle up. It's like I always said about the roller coaster analogy of life. You get on, it's easy at first, you're a little baby, and then there's the learning experience, the up the hill, and then absolute pandemonium. That's your life. Then you get to the point where you level out and it goes, and it stops. And then you go into the little shed area where you depart and new people get on and, the circle of life. That's how it is. I'm on the back to the shed portion. I just want to relax a little. Great ride, fun, exciting, crazy at times. But now I just want to sit and enjoy the scenery. Look at that. Ooh, that looks nice. That's all. There's a point in your life where you just got to ease back a little on the reins. You're not fucking kicking that horse in the loins anymore. That's all I'm trying to say. Exactly. See? Drinking water. What are you going to do? Some fucking dope. I don't even know who this is. Some dope or a couple of dopes. There's so many dopes that do podcasts now. Most of them are the only reason they do a podcast is because so many other people goof on their podcasts. They're such complete assholes. And Chad is one of them. Chad's an idiot. John, of course. Steel Toe Guy, Aaron. Just a collection of dimwits, numbskulls, liars, cheats, douchebags. Someone, I don't even know who it was saying that I still do coke, that I still do cocaine, and that they've talked to comics who have done coke with me over the past couple of years, I guess. And I'm like, someone brought that to my attention. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Coke. I stopped doing coke in my 20s, not even into my 30s. I stopped doing coke probably at 26, 27 years old, 88, 89, somewhere around there. And never looked back. Never had the urge to do it again. Never saw people doing it and then said, I've seen people do it, but I've never seen that and gone like, oh boy. Like Christopher in The Sopranos, when he's watching his buddy shoot up, he goes, just looking at that spike, Never. I would watch people do coke and go like, what the fuck, are you mental? And then once you get into your 30s and through your 30s, if you're still doing coke, I think you're out of your fucking mind. I think you are mentally ill. It could possibly be the most dangerous thing you could do to yourself once you reach a certain age. It's for kids. Coke is for kids. Cocaine's for the kids. It's not a drug for people entering middle age. And certainly not one if you're in the chick, 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 chick part of the roller coaster. You don't want to fucking be doing coke. A history of heart issues and a quadruple bypass. I take it easy eating pizza. And I'm going to sit there and just start doing coke. So I don't know who the fuck was even saying this. It's absolutely ludicrous. Just insane. I stopped smoking cigarettes in 2002 because it's just not good. And at that point, what was I, 40? I guess I was 40 years old, just turning 40. And it was like, yeah, what the fuck am I doing? You kids, you could smoke as a kid, teenager. It is cool looking, by the way. It was, especially when I was growing up. You know, you smoke just to look cool. Let me tell you something. It isn't cool. It is incredibly cool. It was so incredibly cool. I actually got girls because of smoking, because they thought it was cool. That's why. They bum a cigarette off you. Hey, you got to smoke? Sure. Now you're talking to a girl based on nothing but your common interest in smoking a cigarette. What else was I going to say to her? What else was she going to say to me? Gee, you should go to a dermatologist. That's what she would have said to me. And I'd cover my pimply face and run away crying like pissy-eyed Anthony. But instead, I pull out a cigarette to smoke, and now all of a sudden she's like, oh, look at this. Could I have a cigarette? Yeah. There you go. It was a great way to meet girls and look cool when you didn't feel very cool at the time. Army jacket. Oh, yeah. Army jacket. Smoking a cigarette. Box of Marlboro right there. You don't smoke Marlboro Reds? Yo, fucking pussy. Bum a cigarette. Could I have a cigarette? What do you smoke? Misty? What is that? A vagina slim? Get out of my sight. Girl bumming a Marlboro from a guy? They might as well just start fucking right there because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Love it. Memories. I didn't care. Ravenite. Mouths tasted like ashtrays. Yeah. And it was the greatest fucking thing ever. Because that ashtray had big fucking tits. And somewhere way down, further than you could have possibly imagined in your teen gropings, there was a pussy down there. Hairy one, too, back then. Oh, yeah. Yep. Like a rock. That's what I was. Like a rock. I didn't give a shit. I would fucking, I went out with a girl and we were out one night in my pickup. I was in New York, Long Island. It's not an Oklahoma story, kids. I was out there and she goes, go to the liquor store and get me a bottle of Casa de Sol wine, House of the Sun. So I go to Harmon Liquors there in Greenlawn, and it was 18 at the time, drinking, and she was probably 16. So I bought this bottle of wine for her, and we go back into my truck. We're making out, because that's what you did, and she starts drinking her Casa de Sol wine, and she's really pounding this stuff, really pounding it. And I notice she starts looking a little peaked. She throws the door open of my truck and just vomits the fine vintage, that fine Casa de Sol vintage, right out there onto the parking lot, tarmac. And yeah, she's like, I'm like, you okay? Yeah, no, I'm okay. I guess I drank a little too much. Yeah, I guess you did. Within minutes, right back at it. Open mouth kissing. Franche kissing. Cigarette, wine, puke mouth. Oh, yeah. You didn't walk away from any sexual encounter when you're 18 years old. You just did not walk away from it. Didn't matter what happened. If she lost a leg in an accident and still wanted to make out, I'm fine. We'll put a tourniquet on that thing. Here's some Casa de Sol to dull the pain of being with me. But it was great. It was fucking, you didn't care. Didn't care. Florida Sal, thank you. And was anyone cooler than Don Johnson smoking cigs on Miami Vice? Exactly. They try to tell you on television and in movies that smoking isn't cool, and it wasn't cool. And they've had campaigns where anti-smoking organizations have gone to Hollywood and told them, hey, you got to take these out of movies. You're influencing children. The guy's cool on his own. He doesn't need to smoke. And then you look and go, no, because that guy would smoke. That's part of the character. Why would someone who does not give a shit about themselves and puts their life on the line every day is pseudo-suicidal in these movies or TV shows, but they're, concerned about their health, about, maybe getting cancer when they're 60. So they don't smoke. That's part of their character. Get out of here. Smoking was always cool. For God's sake, Dice did it. Smoke a fucking cigarette. Yeah. He'd come into the compound studio. First, he would come into the Sirius XM studio, and they were pretty strict about smoking there. No smoking in the studio. They knew if anybody was in radio in the 70s, 80s, even the 90s, you knew fuck well why, for the most part, they didn't want you smoking in the studio. You used to have to take a Q-tip and dip it in alcohol and clean off the heads of the cart machines. Those are the machines that had all the commercials that would play. And the jocks used to just sit there and smoke the whole fucking time. There was nothing else to do. You're sitting through another Led Zeppelin song or something. You just smoke and drink. And sometimes the cart wouldn't play, and you go, oh, I got to clean the heads. You take these long Q-tip things, dip it in alcohol, and clean the heads on the inside. When you pull that fucking thing out, it looks like you shoved it up your ass after fucking Taco Bell and White Castle. It would just get coated in nicotine. Nicotine, don't try to strike me. So that's why. It ruined the equipment. Smoking just ruins your equipment. So at Sirius XM, they didn't want people smoking. They had all brand new, expensive equipment. And Dice would come in, and Dice always, I don't care. No, it's okay. I talked to the mayor. He would say, I talked to the mayor. It's like, Dice, you can't smoke in here. No, it's cool. I talked to the mayor. He said I could smoke. Okay. Sirius was bad. But then at Compound, he would just light up, and I would let him smoke. It's my place. I didn't give a shit. Yeah, smoke, Dice. And then there were a bunch of Asian sweatshops. Every other suite in the building Compound was in was an Asian sweatshop, especially before COVID, just full of little Asians sewing stuff for the fashion industry. It was in the heart of the fashion district. And there were common ventilation, not air conditioning, but, vents that would vent out. And the smoke would go through there, and these little Asians would come over. And they smoke like motherfuckers, too. So I guess they were pissed that their boss wouldn't let them smoke. So they would rat out any smoke that they smelled or thought people were smoking in the building. And Dice he wouldn't care. Why? This little guy, you blindfold them with dental floss. Why? You never saw someone smoke? I sit next to you at the casino. You're constantly smoking, jerk off. So yeah, he was constantly smoking. And that was cool when Dice would come out. Remember the old Dice in the 80s? Young Dice, not old Dice, old young Dice, not new old Dice. And he'd sit there. How you doing, honey? And it was just cool. Smoking was cool. That's what. So don't let anyone fool you. If I have any point to sell here on this show, it's that smoking is indeed very cool. I try the phones because it's YouTube. By the way, like Tuesday through Thursday, I barely take calls. But this is YouTube. Some of you people, maybe this is the first time you're even watching. And I want to give you a little schooling on what the phones are like. They're 99% of the calls are terrible. As I go through the screen, I got to see, I'm looking. This might work. This is kind of, we've been talking about some old school stuff. JD from Philly, talking about smoking, and Ron from Ron and Fez. What's up, sir?
Yeah, you know what I said, Fezzy? Cursing isn't cool. Smoking, however, is.
Yeah, Ron would say that shit. Cursing's not cool, there, Fez. Smoking's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, Ronnie. I haven't spoken to Ronnie in quite some time. I think it goes hand in hand with, the impression people get that I might be racist, which is totally inaccurate. I'm not racist. I'm a realist. I see things that are happening and I speak about them, and some people don't like it. They don't like hearing about the bullshit that's going on in this country and some of the people that are causing it. Get your shit together. Not much to ask for. Yes, sir?
You have a keen observation to life. Now, if you'll excuse me, Anthony, I must get back to the furnace because I'm sweating like a nigger on election day. Shalom.
Oh, geez. I disavow. No dropping N-bombs on my Monday show. What are you, crazy? Jesus. Arrested. Yeah. Oh, boy, they're going crazy in England. It really is nuts. And the market tanked. Kamala. It's not a good look for Kamala. It's not a good look when the economy takes a shit because there are these fears of an actual recession. Doesn't help their cause. When all they've been doing for the past 4 years is crowing about this thing called Bidenomics. We build from the bottom up in the middle to the side out, and then we cantilever it over to the Bidenomics is supposed to be. Just the other day, Biden was asked what he wants his legacy as president to be, and he says curing the economy. Well, he's curing it like, I don't know, like a palliative care doctor, putting it to bed and letting it die. Like Dr. Kevorkian. That's his cure, the Kevorkian cure. Just killing it. And they're proud. They're proud to talk about the wonders of Bidenomics. And we just saw the market take a shit today, and it's not just a one-day correction, or it doesn't seem that way. Who knows? You can't tell shit with the market. But these are based on recession fears. Things are not getting better. Prices are not coming down, and people are having a real hard time doing anything. Buying a house? Get the fuck out of here. When's the last time you heard of an average Joe buying a house? It's not even on the fucking program these days. It's terrible. So inflation's bad. And since Kamala and Joe have owned this whole inflation thing, inflation economy, they've owned it. They say that this is based on Bidenomics. If whatever you're seeing in the economy, it's our doing, because they've been lying that it's been good, that it's been getting better. So they want to take credit for that, even though you live it on a daily basis. You're the one out shopping. You're the one buying gas. But they lie to you and say it, and the media covers for them. So you sit there and second guess yourself. Maybe it is getting better. I don't know. It just costs $15 for a dozen eggs, but maybe things are getting better. Maybe I'm the dummy. So it's very hard for them to now try to not own the market crashing and these fears of a recession. Maybe Kamala knows how to handle it. Maybe she's a savvy politician and understands how to talk about inflation and kind of quell the fears of the American people. Let's give her a listen, shall we, on the economy and inflation.
Else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously, very seriously. And we know from the history of this issue in the United States that when you see these prices go up, it has a direct impact on the quality of life for all people in our country. So it's a big issue, and we take it seriously. And it is a priority, therefore.
Now, I don't know if I even need to do this. She didn't say anything there, did she? She didn't really say anything. We must stress and stretch, and the stress on the family. This is who she is. The woman asked her a question about inflation and her plans, and how would she combat inflation? And there's no agenda. She doesn't know how to address an actual problem. So she just talks. Oh my God, my nose is so itchy. My nose itches. It must be the Coke. Must be all the cocaine I'm doing. So she just, babbles like that. Who can watch that and go, that's my girl. That's the one. I cannot wait to get into a little voting booth and pull the old handle. Pull the old handle for Kamala Harris. Wow, she's fantastic. Did you hear that concise answer she gave as to how to handle inflation and fend off perhaps a recession? Oh, brilliant. How eloquent she is. No, she's a fucking blithering idiot. A blithering idiot. And she thinks everyone should be woke. And we all know how great that's been going. Anybody woke, we like telling people they don't have freedom of speech, freedom to associate. We like telling women that their sports are done, that if they can't compete against men, sorry, you just can't compete as a woman. These are your woke people. We need to tell parents that their children should be shown big hairy dicks as they're read stories in libraries by drag queens, and that at pride parades, men in leather shaking their hairy man asses at the children is fine. And if you have a problem with it, you are bigoted and uninclusive. So that's woke, and we should all be woke. And that's what our hopefully, God please, future president is telling everybody. Here's Kamala.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. and you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah. We have to stay woke.
And then she just cackles like an idiot. And it's fun to watch the Democrats and the liberals and her supporters, these fucking mutants, talk about her laugh, like the way we make fun of it and criticize it. And of course, it's instantly sexist. You're a misogynist. Oh, a woman laughing? You're portraying her as the giggling, airbrain, fucking mental Yeah, we are. Because it's not just she's laughing. She cackles incessantly like a mental patient. She cackles when she's very nervous and unsure about what she's talking about, which is all the time. That's when she starts laughing. Well, we got to stay right. And when no one's really giving her anything back, she does that fake kind of phony cover-up laugh. Yeah. That's what's going on. Our next president right there. That's who it is. And then, maybe, all right, look, maybe foreign policy, she's talking out her ass. Maybe she doesn't know anything about the economy. We could get somebody in there with her that knows about the economy, maybe. I don't know. But thank God in 2024, as a progressive, she has progressed. She knows about technology. This woman is a whip when it comes to things that every one of us need to know. We live in a technological world right now, and we need to know certain things just to communicate in that world, to garner information that isn't just blasted at us through some bullshit propaganda wing of the left, mainstream media. So here she is talking about the cloud, which is a storage system for your digital possessions, documents, pictures, everything digital. You could store it in the cloud. And she, within a few moments, can enlighten everyone as to what the cloud is. Go ahead, Kamala. Let us know.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? Mm-hmm. It's no longer in a physical place. So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files.
This is a mentally challenged child's version of the cloud. This is someone, maybe a reality show. I've seen these reality show where they have a bunch of Down syndrome young adults, and they function. They figure out how to work a business and live by themselves in a house and occasionally fall in love. This reminds me of watching one of those Down syndrome young people, young women and men, describe something that is so far out of their league. You know, like water coming out of a faucet. That is so far out of their league. She comes off like she's trying to do the, when you used to have to get in front of the class to deliver an oral, oral report, a book report, and you'd have to get up and actually give it to the class. And there was that person that just had no business getting up there. They were stupid. They couldn't read even. And the report was so mishmash and convoluted and made no sense. And they're just up there trying, looking around, all nervous. That's Kamala. The cloud. It's not in your basement anymore, in a file cabinet. And she wasn't even using it as some type of euphemism or analogy. Yeah, the cloud. Think of your computer as, would have been a good way to start if you're doing something like that. Think of your hard drive as a file cabinet in your basement. Okay, that kind of makes sense. And you do things on your computers, and it's all put in that file cabinet in your basement. Everything you have is now in that cabinet for you to then access. The cloud is like file cabinets that aren't on your premises. They're run by someone else, and you can put your stuff there and get it back and access it, but it's not necessarily right there on your property. Yeah. No, I think she really thinks it's in a cloud. I think Kamala Harris believes that you put stuff in a cloud, a puffy cloud that flies over your house during the day. Yeah, because she's, again, an imbecile. She's a blithering idiot. That's how it works. Her supporters are using AI pictures. Now, AI is, I love it. It's amazing. I subscribe to a couple of AI programs and sites, and it's amazing. Just trying to figure out a prompt to put in to get a photo or a video to come out the other end. That's kind of what you were thinking of, what you imagined while you were writing the prompt. And then going in and refining it. All right, well, I would have liked to have seen that. Now I need to add this in. It's pretty cool. It's a great exercise when it comes, because you have to be able to describe something with words. And then you get a demonstration of how well you did. or how exact you were, where you left things out. Because in your mind, you have the picture. You're conveying it through your words that you're typing down to see if this artificial intelligence is on your wavelength. And I think it's a great exercise in communicating with people, that you have this idea, you want to put it out there to people. And I think it's a good practice. How do I do this? What do I need to say? What do I need to touch up or change or add or take away to get my point out there? Of course, that's one of the good things, I guess. The more evil part of it is that it's AI and it's going to take over the world, and Terminator. Just watch Terminator at some point. That's going to happen. So I was looking through my rose-colored big Newman glasses, I guess. Camilla supporters, they're using AI now, and a lot of people are doing this. There's been speculation that the royal family has been using it to kind of cover up for the absence of, what's her name? The fucking one of their minion. I have such no, I could give two fuck shits about the royal family. Don't care. Don't think anyone else does either. And I don't think the guests from Islamic nations really are going to give a shit about the royal family if stuff keeps going on over there like it has been. So good luck. Good luck with that whole thing. Pop up the picture of the supporters AI. This was a writer for CNN. This is somebody that does stories for CNN. And they've used, unless, did they take it down? Maybe they eliminated it, right? Kamala supporters using AI pics. Got that one, Ryan? Oh, here it is. Here's this dude. Listen to this.
CNN just got caught using AI to try to make the crowds at a Kamala Harris event look bigger. Let me introduce you to Catherine Rampell. She works for the Washington Post and is a commentator on CNN. And this was the image she posted. He said, scenes from the Harris fundraiser in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Then people started noticing some little issues with this photo. And she said, getting spam claiming these photos are AI. Not sure why I'd use AI to create a crowd of people in downtown Pittsfield. Then people started zooming in. The fuck is going on with that road sign? How does that happen? Someone explain to me how they can put their hands through the fucking sign? And what fucking language is this? Like, it's very obvious. This is all fake. Like, they tried to take a tiny crowd at her fundraiser and make it some big event using AI. We're now at the point that in the last 2 days alone, he caught MSNBC editing a Joe Rogan clip to make it sound like he supported Kamala Harris, when actually he was talking about Tulsi Gabbard. Now we got CNN using AI to make it look like people give a shit about Kamala Harris. It has become very clear that the mainstream media is willing to lie directly to your face. It's up to you whether or not you're going to take it.
Yeah, they lie right to you. Now they're using AI, and why wouldn't they? It makes perfect sense. They've been lying to you, manipulating films and videos over the course of the years. Their talking heads just spout absolute untruths that you can check on. You can see and go, oh, that was bullshit. And they don't even care. It's right in your face. They put it right in your face now. And AI, what a great way for them to just conjure up an image that they want that will put their agenda that much further forward. That picture is, there's something about AI. It's the weirdest thing. Hands. AI has a problem with hands. They always end up, like Stuttering John's finger looks AI because it's all fucked up and got knots on it, filthy fingernails. So whoa, look at this. Drill Team 6. Thank you, sir. It just, no comment. You could have commented. They can't handle hands. And then sometimes the faces get a little morphed. Remember The Ring, when you first saw the movie The Ring? And they took the picture of the girl. And the mom's like, I saw her face. And then they flash back to her opening the closet. And the girl's face is all twisted. God, was that a jump scare. Holy shit. But that's how AI faces look sometimes. When you try to have AI make a sign, like make a sign with these words on it, the words are always fucked up. Like you can't make a poster with something like, summertime, It just, the words will be fucked up. It can't handle hands, fingers, and words. So it's still, but believe me, they are on the fast track. They will fix that in a matter of months, not years. Believe me, especially if they find out that this technology can be used to push an agenda and to fool the general population. But I find it fascinating. I really do like it. Some of the things I've tried to put into AI, they don't allow. So even AI, supposedly this artificial intelligence that I would believe would be autonomous from any real human programming, would be the perfect version of it. Let it feed itself off of what it's getting from people, from society. Not specifically someone going, hey, AI, don't do this or believe this or think that. Regardless of what you see, I'm telling you to, bypass all that and make sure you include these things. You just let it go. Let it soak up every bit of humanity and the world. Let it just eat that up and then put out whatever it's going to put out on its own accord. But they don't do that. AI it's not honest. It's being programmed. That's why sometimes, like I've said, I've tried to make these prompts that pump out pictures of Kamala. I wanted Kamala Harris with a glass of wine in her hand, drunk, in front of Air Force One. And they wouldn't let me do that. They wouldn't let me do that. It says, no, this is against our terms of service or whatever. And you could do anything with Trump. You could put Trump in any situation that you want, and it will spit out an image or a video of Donald Trump. So even AI is full of fucking shit. I think we'd like to believe it's this self-contained, doesn't have really any influence over it by people. It uses people and their actions and everything to build itself. But it's all bullshit like everything else, like the news, like politics, like Hollywood, like Madison Avenue. It's all bullshit, people. Remember that. Don't ever be fooled by the news or any of this shit that they try to tell you. It's all fake. I'm the only honest voice out there. Me and, of course, Gavin McInnes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Thank you, YouTubers, for coming on. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to see more, we are available every day, except Friday. Monday through Thursday, you can subscribe to this show, Gavin McInnes, and a bunch of other shows. Go to censored.tv or you go to compoundmedia.com and you can subscribe and get the shows, past catalogs of the shows. They're still uploading them, so be patient. But Compound Media, that I was doing for over 10 years, and a bunch of the other shows over there, Gino and Chrissy, and some of the shows that hadn't been on there for years. Huge catalog. And you get the live show, not just on Monday like you do here, you skinflints. If you want to see what I'm doing on a daily basis on social media, you have to follow me on Twitter. That's Anthony Cumia on Twitter. Follow me and subscribe and watch as I weave through the minefield that is expulsion from the platform. I talk about all things: race, religion, sexuality, all of those topics, while trying to keep me from getting thrown off again. I spent 7 years in Twitter exile under this Anthony Cumia account until Elon brought me back. So, and this show and past shows, and I stream things like Call of Duty and PGA 242K, 2K24 Golf, 2-3, I think, 2-4, like 2-5 is going, who knows. So if you want that, it's YouTube, Compound Media on YouTube. And we're back here tomorrow for the people that subscribe, censored.tv or compoundmedia.com. We'll be back tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us then, won't you? Until then, ribs, dirches, douches, dykes, diapers, divvies. Sayonara, my friends.